What's up guys, this is ScherBR talking, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'll be making a full review for the Romancing Festival Polka banner that brings Polka, a slash and heat damage dealer that negates fire and can be one of the best healers in the game via inheritance. Liz, a cold damage dealer that also negates cold and can be the best defense booster in the game. And Faerie, that is a pierce damage dealer with extra damage on overdrive. We start talking about Polka because he gives a name to the banner, and when you look on his status, nothing here is very high. You can see STR just 101%, with intelligence being just 110. Even his agility is kinda bad with just 86%. But his will is good on 91, and endurance is okay as well with 86. His love is 56 because he can also heal, but this value is not even that great. But why is he so good? First, on start of turns, he grants himself an elemental enhanced heat that increases heat damage by 50% for the whole fight, max of 3 times, so in turn 3 he already has 150% damage increase. When he lands an attack, he will self-heal by around 250 and also recovers 2 BP. That's super important because of something that I'll discuss later. And if he gets killed once, he will revive with full HP once per battle. And by the end of a turn, if he is dead, he will also revive, but not on full HP, just with a medium HP healing. That still grants him half HP. This will not trigger if he was killed by poison though. Second passive, he always does 40% more damage when attacking with heat attacks, that's according to JP. And he nullifies all heat damage, and when he is attacking, he has a 50% chance to chase with scattered explosions. This skill was buffed in global a lot of time ago, and it's a deep power attack that hits 3 to 5 times and heat damage only. There's no slash here. So pretty amazing, because if you get 3 hits, it's already high SSS power. If you get at least 4, you are already doing 4S power damage, and 5 hits, a lot. It doesn't matter if this is on rank 1, because multi-hit attacks usually don't get much stronger when you level them up, but Polka also benefits of a SSS weapon and his damage scales super well. Then he also has 30% damage increase at all times and reduced damage taken by 30% as well. So 70% just from these 2 passives and another 150 for a total of 220% damage increase by turn 3. Pretty fast to build, not really slow. Moving on for skills, Bird of Light is a single target heat spell based on intelligence that will recover his HP by around 250 and buff his intelligence by 30%. It's just 2 BP and has C power, so because he gets 2 BP when he is attacking, he actually still reserves 3 BP for something else. And if he chases with his 50% chance scatter explosion, he also gets another 2 BP. So, very good to just scale damage. The second one, Burning Feather. Again, a spell, and this one has double S power, 8 BP cost, and will buff STR, Endurance, Intelligence, and Will, status that he likes to buff, by 30%. It's not that strong, but since you are scaling and you can still do more damage via Chase, it's actually pretty nice, and Will buffs always protects versus ailments. The third one is called Flame Soul Blade. This time it's a sword skill, so it's based on STR. And it will be slash and heat. It has 10 BP cost. It already starts with 10. SSS power. Can only be used once per battle. You can use this on turn 1 or whatever you feel like you need, because this will increase your heat attack by 55% on max level or 45% on rank 1. And it will cut all of your HP to 1%. But then this doesn't matter, because in the end you are going to get this new region that will recover his HP by a small effect that will be close to 1.4k healing, and he will block damage for 3 turns. That's right, he can still get inflicted with ailments. Since this skill boosts heat attack before you even attack, this will feel more in line into a 4S attack, but you can only use this once per battle. But this will guarantee that you will not die by 3 turns. You'll be, well, untouchable. So you can use on start if you feel like you need, or you can just use on some critical moment where you're going to receive a very big nuke from a boss, and after that, he will always survive. Now, okay, this is his main gameplay. but the best skill to use may be something else from his Rag Robin style. Rag Robin is available on a ticket, and he has Steel Blade Phoenix. Remember this skill? It's both slash and hit. That all of his passives that increase hit damage will also increase the damage of Steel Blade Phoenix, and this also gives him taunt. And it's okay to have taunt because he can self-heal with that skill number 3. Every time he attacks, he already self-heals a little, and even the chases will self-heal. And now that he has a chance to chase, he also can get sometimes 7 BP per turn. This skill is just 9. Many times we'll be able to use this skill 2 times in a row. And it will recover HP of all surviving allies by around 1,200 on current game. Steel Blade Phoenix is his best inheritance and makes him one of the best healers in the game. He's just tied up with, I believe, Razan, still a very good healer nonetheless, and Mirsa. Well, Mirsa is such a good player and he can use Steel Blade Light, and besides Steel Blade Light, he also has a chance to chase. He can also get 7 BP per turn, or he can just rely on using Silverlight Fangs that has a high chance to already heal, and heal even again via chase. They will be tied as the best healers in the game, and I do believe that Razan is good because he uses very low BP, but he's tied on not being able to heal every time he wants, since he only healed twice and he has to wait for a charge. Usually it's good enough, but well, those will be the best healers right now. And Polka deals damage, and deals a lot of damage, and now he is both a slash and hit damage dealer with good potential, very similar to what you get with Saruin. Saruin has to charge 3 turns in order to get that increase in damage, while Polka is just getting it passively. He deals a little less damage than Saruin, because Saruin still has a force power attack, and he has a very good BP generation where he can nuke every 2 turns, but Polka will be also able to nuke every 2 turns, and if you consider that on 2 turns the average is to get at least 1 chase, well, he can even surpass Saruin with RNG. And Saruin doesn't heal. Your Polka will be healing the party, hence why he is just so good. I don't think any other inheritance makes too much sense. You can get Scatter Explosions from 2 different versions of him. The first mage style, and I do believe the third one also has it here. So you can use it, and then the chase may happen for, well, very good damage even if you just hit 3 times every time. But Steel Blade Phoenix makes this character very, very good, and he will receive an OP grade in the tier list. Only competitor on this level is Mirsa, and to some extent Razan, but they are all on different elements. Okay, Polka deals slash, but heat. Mirsa deals slash, but sun. And Razan deals sun damage. See that even then, Polka is not a direct competitor to them. And specifically because he can negate heat damage, he will be very useful in some plays. I'm not saying that you really need Polka because if you have his chef style. The chef style is still okay, because it still has very good defense. The chef style, as you can see here, 82% endurance and will. Love is even a little higher, but the damage is very different. We'll be doing more than double the damage of the chef style. Chef style can also give the heals that is not even that great anymore, because, well, Steel Blade Phoenix is a much better inheritance anyway. So that's Polka for you. Receives an OP grade in the tier list, and is one of the best characters available right now. Oh, and just before we go, Noah's Daughter and Liz are very good characters to use together with Polka, because Liz gives defense boost, but also 1 BP, just like Noah's Daughter is giving always 1 BP, to make Polka use Steel Blade Phoenix almost all turns. And now we'll be talking about Liz, the character that can be as good as Polka or even better. She has 86% endurance, that's just okay, 94% will is good, dexterity and agility are on 90s, but her intelligence is the highest status since she's more focusing on being a mage now. Love is just 50%. Now, she has a passive that triggers every 3 turns from start of battle, so turn 3, 6, and 9, where she will give a defense boost to the party that decreases damage taken by 30%, it will last for 3 turns, but it will break after you take 3 hits. It will also recover all surviving allies HP by medium effect. That will be probably around 1,500, healing half of the current max HP. Also by start of turn, she gets very small healing, that will be around 250, and recovers 2 BP, so a 5 BP per turn character. She also increases cold damage by 40% at all times, negates all sorts of cold attacks, like Polka does for heat. Just remember that when a spell or skill has double elements, but one of them is cold, in this case, it will be negated as well. When she's attacking, she has a 50% chance to chase with Dragon's Fury Plus. And Dragon's Fury Plus is an amplifier for an old skill of her. That is now triple S power, and it's just cold damage, and grants the user a cold attack boost. That increases cold damage by 40%, lasts for 2 turns. So if you have good RNG, you can use it again to even benefit from the skill itself. Now for skills, the first one is a spell called Fresh Water Shot. It's a 2 BPC power single target cold and pierce attack that will also buff her endurance and intelligence by 25% on max level. That's nice because it will just allow her to receive less physical damage and increase her magical output. The second spell is actually amazing, one of the best ones in the game right now. Because it was buffed in global. On JP, it grants a Guard Up Medium. That decreases damage taken by 25%, and it only lasted for 3 turns on JP. In global, it lasts for 4 turns. You know what's better? It was changed to become Defense Boost. Defense Boost stacks. So, this skill costs 7 BP. Okay. But then she also recovers HP by around 250 off everyone and gives 1 BP to everyone, including herself. So if she's using 7, in that turn she got 6. And that means that you are just losing 1 BP per turn. Eventually you have to skip 1 turn, but you can cast this 4 times in a row. And look, 4 times defense boosts, because it stacks and it lasts 4 turns. This is like comboing Death and Final Impress together. Yeah, you are now having one character that has 4 layers of defense boost eventually. Of course, takes 4 turns. But when she is ready and boosting your defense so much, well, you don't even need a secondary defense booster in most occasions. She still heals and gives BP. The only thing that she won't do is damage, because she will just keep using Dragon's Blessing Plus in most scenarios. But that is good enough to keep your party alive. Now you have to think about something else, like ailment resistance or status buffs, debuffs, but she just decreases damage by quite a lot. Now the third one is called Water Dragon's Roar. It's again a spell, and single target, has 10 BP costed, double S power. Before she attacks, she grants this a cold attack boost that increases cold damage by 35% on max level, and then she attacks. It will feel more in line to a triple S power attack. The effect lasts for 6 turns, so it can actually stack with itself or with your other passive, Dragon's Fury Plus via Chase. So, you have a skill that is not that strong, but can eventually get if you just want her to do damage. I just don't think that it's worth. Yeah, she can do damage in overdrive turns and if you want, but Dragon's Blessing, it's really her main gameplay, to decrease damage taken, heal, and give BP to the party. Now, you can inherit Dragon's Fury Plus if you want, to keep her as a damage dealer from her first mage style, and then amplify this to become triple S power, and that also increases cold damage, so that if you use this as your main attack, and then you can still get it as the chase, but that doesn't mean that she really needs that, since she already has Water Dragon Roar, but that allows her to have a perfect cycle of using an 8 BP skill and then a 2 BP skill. But since she usually chases once every 2 turns, she gets 12 BP in 2 turns on average, so you really don't need the inheritance. Some people could say that she has Karatsu Water Wall, and that could be nice from her Perfector style. But in the end, this one decreases damage taken by 50%, but only 1 turn, and it has a 9 BP cost. It's better to use a defense boost that lasts for 4 turns, heals and gives VP, and, well, unless you really want to do damage, that could be interesting to have as an inheritance. Or you can just inherit Aqua Bash Plus to keep her as a wheel buffer that eventually chases to do more damage. Or you can also use Droplet as inheritance to have emergency reviver for someone that just died. There's no other inheritance that makes much sense, but now, Liz is good as she is, she does not need inheritance like Polka does. So anyone can benefit of Dragon's Blessing Plus. And this skill is now also available on Mirsa. If you have Mirsa Global X style, she's also a very good character that can self buff, she has 1 damage block, she has intrinsic, charges even more defense ups, and you can inherit from her first version and amplify. So if you are deciding to skip Liz, either because you don't have gens, you can use a soft version of her via Melissa. But Melissa just gets 4 BP per turn on average, while Liz gets 5, so she can actually keep casting more times. You can still use both if you want, especially if you have BP batteries in the party. But Melissa gives BP to Liz, and Liz gives BP to Melissa, so they actually can be used together with no problem at all. But like I was saying, sometimes we were bringing people like Death in some fights, because Death will decrease damage taken by 30%, and then we'll decrease it again by 25 via Dark Barrier, and we'll heal. Okay, but sometimes we were also bringing characters like Empress. Empress has more utility, of course. She has the evasion and some other stuff, but she decreases damage taken by 25%, and you could use her inheritance from the Christmas style that has 25% damage reduction. But now you can forget about damage, but use either Liz or Melissa for just the defense boost, and you can go even higher and decrease damage taken by much more, so you can save 1 slot. If you were deciding to bring 2 defense boosters, now you can bring just Liz. And if you want to go for extreme, you can bring Liz plus either Melissa, Death, Honor Impress, Null's daughter, and even the newest Joe, that also works super well with all of these characters I just mentioned. And I will be talking about her in a future review. Liz also receives an OP grade in the tier list by being a meta character that will be very useful for now and the future. I just can't see how they will replace Liz as the best defense booster in the near future. The last character is Faerie, and she's a damage dealer. Her STR is not that high, just 112%. She has just 70% endurance, but 87% will, that's better. Her agility is just okay, and she does have intelligence to try to be a debuffer, but that's kinda of a waste. As for passives, she has a 40% damage increase to all pierce attacks, and when she is attacking on overdrive, she will always follow up with triple pierce. That's pretty similar to triple crush from Gustave, and has 3 attacks of A power. That's like, it's even hard to calculate, but it's stronger than most 4S power attacks. She has a 37% chance by the end of a turn to refresh a usage of her skill number 3, that I'll be talking later, recover 7 BP, and fills her own OD gauge, so to get that extra triple pierce for free. So 37% chance means average of every 3 turns. Okay. Then by the end of a turn, she recovers HP by around 250, and on odd turns from start of battle, she gets 2 BP. And on even turns, she buffs her STR, endurance, and will by 15%. On average, the buff values are not really that great. This is a very old passive, to be honest, and she gets an average of 4 BP per turn. She also increases damage by 20% at all times, reduces damage taken when resisting by 40, and has a 37% chance to evade resisted attacks. So what we have here for damage is 60% increase and the status buffs, and she's a character that has at least 4 BP per turn on average, and has the extra gimmick of getting 7, filling her OD gauge in the extra attack on overdrive. Skill number 1 is called Insight Needle. For just 1 BP, she has a C power attack that just deals pierce damage, and has a chance to debuff the endurance of the enemy by 20%. Well, just 1 BP, it's okay to use this if you don't have anything else. Skill number 2, Triple Trick. It's a single target pierce attack that costs 10 BP and has triple S power. Okay, but it buffs STR only after you attack, so you don't benefit from this, by up to 40% on max level. But this is nice to use when you are on overdrive and you don't have the skill number 3, Faerie Breeze Lancer, that costs the same, also has triple S power, but before she attacks, she will grant morale up very large, increasing damage potential by 40%, then a pierce attack boost. That increases pierce damage from 45% on rank 1 to 55% on max level. This can only be used 2 times per battle, so if you want to use this on turn 1 to apply that damage increase that lasts for 3 turns, you can. And if you are lucky, you will get 7 extra BP. You will fill your overdrive gauge. And then you can also refresh Faerie, Breeze Lancer. Each one of these things can happen separately. And then, if you get the overdrive attack, you'll do even more damage with triple pierce. One interesting thing about Faerie Breeze Lancer is that although morale up does not stack, I would much prefer it to be an attack boost, Pierce attack boost do stack. So if you manage to use Faerie Breeze Lancer 2 times in a row because you got that extra 7 BP, damage scales even further, and then when you do your overdrive extra triple pierce, it will do even more damage. If you don't refresh Faerie Breeze Lancer by any bad RNG, you will just use triple trick. That's what you do. And if you don't have enough BP, you will use Insight Needle. So she has a very good damage output, but she also relies a little too much on RNG to allow her to stay on top. Because she's Pierce, we have to compare her to the latest version of Asilus, that is still the best Pierce damage dealer for long fights. Because she has a guarantee a power chase, and she still has a 37% chance to chase with a triple S power attack that self-buffs Dexterity and Agility. So, because she has a guarantee chase, her damage is a little more stable. And while she still relies on RNG to trigger second chase, this is not really required to keep her damage on top. But okay, she is now the best Pierce damage dealer, and Brownie is pretty similar in a way. She is good enough and can help you deal with Remembrance Battle, especially versus Golden Lion because of the 3 hits. And it's just that eventually you'll get damage dealers that have more to offer, not just damage or damage relying too much on RNG. If you wanna get something from Inheritance, you have this double note that has double hits for Golden Lion, for example. This is from her musical style. And if you have this anniversary style of her, there is Miracle Parade. This is a triple S power attack that is also 8 BP and 1 LP that grants evasive stance for 1 turn. If she gets extra BP, you can use this more times and she won't die. But we'll be using LP as well. But I don't think that she really needs this, since she can just stay using her skill 3, and then if she doesn't have BP, skill number 2. She can still be a debuffer with Blitzing Strike from the Anniversary style. She can debuff Will by 15%. But there's nothing else that really matters in this character. You can just use her as she is. She does not require Inheritance to perform as a damage dealer. And, well, while weaker than Asilus, it's not by a very big amount. So I believe she deserves a triple S grade, but it's easier to be downgraded in the future than Asilus, for example. There's no future version of Brownie, but if you get her, it's okay. I just don't recommend pulling for her unless you are very close, for a pity. Now, back to the banner image. Is this banner worth summoning for? In my opinion, yes. I will give it a gold award. Why? Liz is the best defense booster in the game right now, does not need Inheritance and works as she is. Can even sub as damage dealer from time to time, and will be one of the best players on Bow Remembrance alongside Shirei and Labelle. Polka, if you have Rag Robin, he is tied as the best healer in the game, while also offering lots of damage. If you already have his Shaft style, that style still works, but the difference in damage is night and day. And we have Brownie. That is a character that, although not very special, can do big numbers of damage with the right squads. But 2 OP units and 1 triple S unit makes this banner really worthwhile. And I already pulled it, got all 3 styles, but I recommend you to stop if you get Polka and Liz early. Unless you are very close to a pity, you can get Brownie. But that's my opinion. What is yours? Please say here on the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this. Please subscribe if you haven't, and if you want to support the channel, we have links on the description of the video. I hope to see you soon in the next one.